Today's episode of the Bill Simmons Podcast brought to you, as always, by ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter's powerful technology scans thousands of resumes to find people with the right experience for your job. 80% of employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate through the site in just one day. Look, when it comes to hiring, you do not need a high hiring IQ. That's why we have ZipRecruiter. Check it out. My listeners can try for free at ZipRecruiter.com/BS. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. We are also brought to you by TheRinger.com. And specifically, if you go to twitch.tv/TheRinger at noon Pacific time, 3 East Coast time, on that channel, myself, my insane son, Ben Simmons, 10 years old, Stephanie Snowden, and Jason Concepcion from The Ringer, the 4 of us are going to play Fortnite for 2 hours on a Fortnite squad. And you can watch me, the greatest over 45 Fortnite player in the country, which basically the list is just me because I think nobody over 40 is probably playing Fortnite. But we're going to do a squad. We're going to play. We're going to talk. We're just going to mess around and see what happens. So check that out. Twitch.tv/TheRinger. I've been practicing. I've had a couple kills in games. I've gotten to, in the battle royal, I've gotten to like second a couple times and third. I have a pretty unique strategy that you're going to enjoy when you watch it, which is basically I try to avoid conflict at all times and snipe people. I can shoot from far away, but I'm terrible up close because I'm old. But far away, I'll take you out. You better be looking the whole time when you're looting those chests. Anyway, Twitch.tv/TheRinger. This is the first of a lot of stuff we're going to be doing on Twitch with not just with Fortnite, but with FIFA, with 2K, with God only knows what else. It's our staff loves video games. We're going to try to capture that on, as Joe House would say, the Twitch. So go to Twitch.tv/TheRinger, subscribe, check it out. And that's it. Coming up, we're talking to Jay Williams. He was in on Thursday afternoon. Actually, before we do that, I should mention Carmelo Anthony got traded right as I'm doing the ads. He's going to Atlanta. OKC got Dennis Schroeder back. I continue to like kind of the direction the Western Conference has gone into for OKC. You could make the case getting rid of Carmelo, who really killed them last year and was just not good for them in really any way. And you give his minutes to Jeremy Grant and a couple other people. And then on top of that, if they keep Schroeder, who I can't imagine how he's going to mesh with Westbrook. Maybe they're taking him for trade bait or something. But if they keep him and they can figure out how to use him as an asset, and Westbrook can take his hand off the steering wheel a little bit, it's a really, really kind of interesting team. I'm looking at them Western Conference odds right now. Oh, 40-1 in the Western Conference. 40-1, nephew Kyle.
I bet.
All you need is like 2 Warriors injuries. You need the Rockets to get old. You need LeBron and the Lakers to be a year away. You need the Spurs to kind of be a notch below. That's not inconceivable. It would have to involve Westbrook changing the way he plays and getting more people involved and figuring out some sort of balance between being Teen Wolf Westbrook and being point guard Westbrook. If he's Teen Wolf Westbrook like he was in the playoffs last year, then they have no chance no matter who's on the team. But if he's good teammate, point guard, get everyone else involved and take over the last 4 minutes, Westbrook, a little more interesting. Anyway, I thought that was a really fascinating trade. The NBA, every time you think it's dead, something else happens. We were complaining this week that this was going to be the first boring NBA week of the year, and then the Kawhi trade starts happening in the middle of the night on Tuesday, and now Carmelo gets traded, and the West is starting to take shape. Who knows what's next? Anyway, we're talking to Jay Williams right now. First, Pearl Jam. All right, we're taping this Thursday afternoon. Jay Williams in the office with me. And we've never done one of these somehow.
This is the first time I've actually had a thorough conversation with you. I just want you to know that. And I've been a big fan of yours for a while.
We've been at events together.
Mm-hmm. You know why I've been a big fan of yours? Because when I got drafted,
you
said that Houston made a colossal mistake and that I was going to be the transcendent, thing in the draft. And it's funny, as a player, you listen to that kind of stuff. And I was like, that's what Bill Simmons, yeah, you're damn right I'm going to be. Granted, it didn't work out for me because of a mistake, but it's all good. I'm here today.
Well, you got injured.
I did.
I was dubious of Yao because of the history of super tall guys staying healthy for long periods of time.
You don't usually run into 7'6".
Yeah, it's just like, it was like, can he play 16 years? How long does he last? Whereas where the league was going, it just seemed like to have an explosive guard who could create seemed like a safer bet. That one, I don't feel like that's a loss for me because you had an injury that was like a fluke injury, but I had some bad ones.
Like what?
I had some really good ones. I've had big swings. Like Chris Paul year, I went crazy.
Okay.
I was like, Chris Paul, what's going on? He's the best player of the draft's going fourth. I don't understand this. Marvin Williams was the sixth man at UNC. He went ahead of him. That one was big. Curry, I went nuts that year when Curry fell to 7. Hasheem Thabit. But then I had some other ones. Like I have this whole thing about Emeka Okafor over Dwight Howard.
Oh, wow.
I was really like confident about that one. That didn't work. So, but you've done the draft.
Yeah.
These guys show up. You don't.
I mean, I had one with D'Angelo Russell. But you can make a case.
I liked him too.
Yeah. Well, I didn't like him as much.
Oh, you didn't like him? So that's a win for you.
I guess in a way, but I mean,
it's still early.
Yeah, it's very early. I mean, I thought Chris Dunn was going to be a better prospect than just him going to the Tibbs system and playing for Tibbs and hearing stories from, Karl Anthony Towns about how Tibbs practices and how it's so intense all the time. And now seeing him in Chicago, I don't know. So I guess it's still to be determined,
I feel like as the years have gone on, I've learned kind of things not to do from experience by being wrong on things. One of them is just to judge anyone 18 and under, for the most part, it's just a crapshoot. You just don't know. They come into the league. You don't know how mature they are. They don't know what the work ethic is. Like I did the draft when Giannis was in, and it's like, we thought it was actually right around where he should have gone. We liked him. We didn't know he was going to go 3 inches. We didn't know that now that he was being fed regularly and with trainers and shit like that, like good things were going to happen to him. How do you predict that?
You don't. I mean, here's my thing. When is it fair a game for kids? Like, so as soon as you go into draft night, is that when you're allowed to be critical and be honest, and have fun? Like, because if you're critical of a kid in college, like everybody gets extremely sensitive.
Yes.
But we're only looking at them through the pro prism. Like, so when I look at a kid now, that's Zion Williamson, I don't look at him and say, this is how he's going to be. Like, this is how he's going to project as a pro.
Yeah.
Here are the things he needs to work on. Here are issues happening off the court that I worry about, or a love life that you worry about, how things translate.
Yeah. I remember doing the draft with Jalen. And Jalen in the green room for the draft, or like in our, the pre-pro meeting, was better than Jalen on TV for the draft because he knew what it was like to be drafted. And he didn't want to criticize anybody basically because he knew this was the biggest moment of their life.
Yeah.
And they're walking up there and he's like, well, he can't shoot. Like he just wasn't going to do that, which is why you need an asshole like me to be like, I don't know about this pick. Jalen would dance around. Like you could kind of tell who he didn't like and who he liked, but he was always careful because he understood that moment. And I think to me, that's one of the main reasons you have players in analyst positions because they get it. They know what it's like to be drafted. They know what it's like to be in the last 2 minutes of a playoff game when the crowds are rooting against you. And that's something I can never get. I can just kind of glean.
Well, I feel like you can do that. And it was the biggest moment of my life, but also I was a realist. Like there's no perfect player out there. Everybody has something that they need to work on. I think it just depends on the way you say it. But at the time, I'm a fan too. So I sit back at home and I yell at the TV.
Yeah.
I mean, it kind of funny that it shocks other people that you talk like a fan. Because when you stop playing ball, you are essentially, that's all you are. You're a fan.
Yeah. But you know.
Yeah,
you still,
I'm with you.
You win some big games at Duke. And I think the one thing that shocked me when I worked with Jalen was how famous he was, which you don't really understand. But like those Final Fours that he was in.
Well, he was a leader of a movement, though.
And he was the leader of a movement, the whole thing, and people naming their kids after him. But, those UNC Michigan game, the timeout game, was probably like 20 million watching. And even you were at the tail end of when college basketball was getting huge audiences like that. Now it feels like a little more cookie cutter. The teams change every year. It's hard to keep track. It's hard to keep track of the history. It's like, what Kentucky team was Anthony Davis on? Was he on the one with?
It's crazy.
You know?
It feels like high school basketball is bigger than college basketball now.
Yeah.
Just because you see all these kids that are coming up that are creating mixtapes, have social media, people following them around.
House of Highlights, doing the dunks.
It's crazy. It's just next level. Now saying you go to college and there's this short window. Who pays attention to college until after the Super Bowl?
Yeah.
I mean, that's the point. So your
well,
window's
you
so
have
much,
to because you're paid for it.
obviously. Well,
We have
yeah.
Mark Titus and Tay Frazier, and they know what's going on year round. But I think there's way more casual college basketball fans now. I consider myself one of them. I used to be all in on college basketball.
No,
And now
who's
it's
your
kinda
team?
like-
Boston College guy?
No, I never really. I was always like Big East, and I liked BC. But then when I went to Holy Cross, I kind of dumped them.
Wait, you went to
So
Holy Cross?
I did. So the first 18 years I was pro BC, and then there was still kind of a semblance of a Holy Cross Boston College rivalry. So I was like, screw those guys. My mom went to BC actually.
Can I tell you some of the best parties of my life have been at spring weekend at Holy Cross?
Oh yeah, that's
yeah.
like the only weekend we get good weather.
Exactly.
Why were you at Holy Cross?
Because one of my best friends played there, Brian Wilson. He played there the whole stint I was in college. So we always sneak out of Durham, drive up to Worcester, and go party for the weekend.
In the
Classic.
early 2000s, we're
Early
talking?
2000s,
Oh,
all
it was,
the time.
It was, I think it was more fun in the early 2000s at Holy Cross than I was there during a different era.
Such as?
This is a little less fun. 2000s, I think things heated up.
All right.
Our era was a little more serious. Yeah, it was just more serious times in general. Yeah, when I was there, it was like the last time Holy Cross kind of had a chance to be Gonzaga. We made the NCAAs a couple of times. We could never get over the hump. And then in the 2000s, they had a couple more games where it's like all we had to do was win one tournament game and it kind of flips. And we could never win the game. One year, Dwayne Wade killed us.
Yeah, that was the year that my boy Brian played against him.
Yeah. And
shot
we
me a
should have
text,
won
he's
that game. And Dwayne Wade was like really good. And talking to my dad after, like, wow, that Wade guy was good. Is he first round pick? Like, we just have no
Nobody
idea.
knew.
Yeah, it was like,
Exactly.
oh, yeah, he's a lottery pick. But then he became Dwayne Wade. But you could see the seeds of it. What was your big college game? Did you win the title that year? I don't remember.
We won a title 2001.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that was that year, right?
Yeah.
Or was I think
Was that with the Alaskan Assassin or was that a different team?
No, that's Trajan. That was maybe one of the best teams of all time.
That was
Duke has had.
98?
99.
99.
That was when they had Trajan Langdon, Elton Brand, remember Corey Maggette when they came out of high school?
Yeah.
That dude was
1 year Corey. He was one of the first one
ridiculous.
and done guys.
William Avery.
So who was on your team?
My team, we won it. It was myself, Shane Battier, Mike Dunleavy, Chris Duhon.
Oh, that was a good team.
we
Yeah, I
had
remember that.
Carlos
team.
Boozer. We had a good squad.
This is the problem with college basketball, though.
Can't
It's
remember.
like, no, yeah,
too much.
you need to download it like an Apple. Like when Apple does the update of the iPad, I wish I
Download
could
it for college.
download. It's like, I got to download the 2001 season in my brain again.
Exactly.
I watched all those games. It's
Well, those
just
dudes
like,
have pretty good NBA careers. I mean, Boozer signed that crazy deal with Utah. And
what was his hair situation in college?
then we were all struggling. And my hair is still struggling. I don't let it grow in, Bill.
He was
There's no
struggling
need.
in college?
Probably. I don't remember. You don't have too many chances to look at Boozer's hair in college because he's just a mammoth. He's such a big dude. I remember Coach K, there's a story, it was great. Everything Booz did was a little bit slower in collage.
Yeah.
And he used to wear, the wave cap, even though he didn't have waves. And he used to wear like the big gold, necklaces and the big lush velour suits. And Kay used to say, everything you do is slow. So one day we're all sitting there and Kay walks into the huddle, into our locker room, wearing one of Booz's velour suits and his gold chains and a wave cap and was like, chewing gum very slow like a horse would chew hay.
Doing
I was
a
like,
Booz impersonation?
Yo, I'm Carlos Boozer. Everything I do is slow. I run down the court slow. I jog slow. And then he went on to say some other things that maybe he shouldn't have said that were slow. And then Booz, then we had to go do charge drills and my head was almost knocked off.
Oh,
It was-
Jesus.
Yeah. That's how it
did
was.
he have
okay.
the full thing of chest hair at that point? Because he
He was always,
he brought
He was
that
like a
back to the
caveman.
NBA. Yeah,
Caveman.
We almost did a 30 for 30 about that one
On chest hair.
on Boozer's chest hair.
you
No, I'm
probably-
kidding. We
Yeah.
did. It could have been a short, maybe. He was the first NBA player with chest hair in like 20 years. He brought it back. It was like
it's
throwback
legitimate.
chest hair.
I mean, he was a legitimate caveman when he was 17 years old.
Dunleavy, he's a good example of a bad luck career because I actually think his NBA career should have been better than it was. He kept getting injured at the wrong times. But he's kind of that the three who could shoot threes kind of guy that everybody's looking for now, play make a little bit. And those guys I guess he got paid a lot of money too. But
Yeah.
Everybody's looking for those guys.
He got paid a lot of money.
Yeah, he got a big contract.
Good for Dun though, because he came in college. He was 6'6", man. All of a sudden, when he left school after a junior year, he was 6'11". You're like, where the hell did that come from? Like, how you just grow 5 inches in 2.5 years?
And then you get ball handling out of it too. I mean, who'd you beat in the finals?
We met Arizona in the finals, so I joke with Richard Jefferson all the time.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, they had Gilbert Arenas, RJ.
God, that was one of the last championship games with a ton of talent.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Because then after that, Carmelo was 03, and he was like the first one and done guy to basically
win it all,
carry a title team. And then I feel like basketball
dipped
for college drastically. It dipped.
Yeah.
Now I don't know what to make of it. I love the atmosphere. You feel that when you're on location for these games. Like the atmosphere
exceeds the talent on the court.
Yeah.
Yes, that's where we are. It's unfortunate, but I mean, look, there's still nothing like college ball, but it's like I don't look at basketball though in any more verticals, man. I look at it as one thing. And it's so funny because people are like, oh, well, you're a college basketball analyst. I'm like, well, all the dudes that I call now, I've been doing this for 12 years. All the dudes that I call are in the league. And like I watch the league all the time. Like I'm just a basketball junkie. So to watch a kid from high school, then go into college and then go into the league, I mean, that's what it's all about. You talk about the entire process.
I think the biggest thing for me with college hoops is the timeouts every 4 minutes. I just hate it so much. It's just so awful to watch. It ruins the flow. And especially when we get to like bigger and bigger stakes and you get to the final 8 and the final 4, and then you get to these bigger, these domed arenas and 55 and the sight lines are weird. And then there's no flow to the game. And then people are like, yeah, wow, this game's not good. I wonder what happened. And it's like, I know what happened. The game has no flow and they're playing in a football stadium.
I agree. I mean, we should just make the league, we should make all college basketball like it is Euro basketball. Like make it a 24-second shot clock. Make the 3-point line expansive. Play faster. Have fun. I mean, all these guys who are traditionalists, I get it. They want to slow the game down and you can say that about the arenas, but I just want to see a faster pace. You need to keep me involved because I'm telling you, I get paid to watch it and I lose interest in a lot of games. Like when you go to Big Ten games and halftime score is 25-13, I'm like, somebody shoot me, please. Yeah. Like I want to see fast pace. I want to see dunks. I don't want to watch a team playing 4 corners.
I don't know how they fix it because I don't think they have an incentive to fix it. Because if you're a coach, this is great. You're heavily involved. There's a lot of timeouts. You're on TV all the time. You're ordering people around, telling them what to do.
You're making $8 million a year.
You're making $8 million a year, and your best player is gone in 6 months anyway. So you're basically the star of the team. So I don't want to change that if I'm a coach. And if I'm the NCAA, I'm getting so much money from the timeouts. I'm not fixing that either. But the question for me is like, at some point, you got to care about the product. So even if you did it every 5 minutes instead of every 4 minutes, that extra minute is still like 3 more plays and a little more flow.
Well, that's the best part too. We talk about the product being like the content and how it's displayed on TV. We're not talking about the kids. Like the kids are the main product, right? So it's like now we're talking about these rules. Like, well, yeah, Adam Silver, let them go straight from high school. Like kids should be able to go whenever they want. But then college is going to say, well, why don't we keep them here for 2 or 3 years? And I hear coaches who are making $8 million a year, bitch and complain about, well, it's hard to recruit. Well, you get paid $8 million a year to recruit and you're flying around on a private jet so you can get back to your family every night. Like, all right, with that comes...
How hard is it to recruit?
Difficult. Not for Cal, not for K.
Hop in a freaking jet. You show up. Everybody treats you like you're royalty for an hour and a half. You say some bullshit and then you fly home.
First class problems.
It's like the grueling recruiting. It's
so
it's
tough
grueling
out
if
here
you're
in the
head,
streets of recruiting.
Yeah, if you're the coach for Holy Cross, it's a little more grueling.
Agreed.
You're connecting flights in Arkansas.
You're renting cars, driving 9.5 hours.
Yeah, that's grueling. I get that. But even like the Gonzaga guy, Mark Few,
Have you ever been out there, by the way?
Can't imagine it's that grueling.
It's incredible.
Yeah, he gets every kid in the Pacific Northwest, Australia. He has all these pockets. It's just like, all right, who's the best Australian this year? We'll get him. We'll get the best kid in freaking remote Washington.
And it's like these colleges take care of your entire families too. I mean, like with all these different things you could do with your charity, then the college is in bed with your charity and you could bring people under your family through the charity. They can get paid to do different things. I mean, it's a hell of a business. I mean, I love it. I just get pissed off that the kids can't participate in it.
So you're in that corner?
A little bit. I mean, because I got my degree, which was great for me, but I'm one of the few to actually, but if you're asking me realistically, I should have left my sophomore year. I was going to be top 5 pick. right? Like my
When did
sophomore
you leave? What year?
I left my junior year. I stayed another year. So my sophomore
nowadays
year,
you'd be one and gone. You'd be gone in
I'd be
March.
done.
You'd have a personal trainer when you're 19.
but how different could my career have been? I mean, do I make that same mistake if I play with MJ in DC? I mean, Kwame Brown got the first pick in the draft that year.
I think the guys now are different. I think they mature faster now.
Agreed.
I think social media makes them a lot more self-aware a lot earlier. They get attention earlier. And, I've talked about this before on the podcast, but watching Jaylen Brown and Tatum, Jaylen Brown's different because he's probably one of the 10 smartest guys who's come in the NBA in the last 30 years.
Yep.
Like he's just like, that guy's going to go off and leave basketball and do something crazy. Tatum is a smart kid, but more of a traditional, the kind of guy that comes in and he's already really polished and knows how to give interviews and knows how to handle his business and works hard. And it's like he's a 5-year vet, but he's 20. And that I think is the biggest difference I see with the guys now is how polished they are.
You can add on to that too, because of social media, you have a lot of guys in the league that are paying attention to who's next. And guys these days are more willing to say, yo, come on, I got you. Like if you see CP3 or some of these guys with their AAU squads, like they all, like if you're an elite high school athlete, like a couple NBA dudes who want to take you under their wing. Like I didn't have anybody to be like, yo, Jay, come on, I got you. Like It's just the way the game is different now.
Allen Iverson might have taken you to a casino and peed in a plant.
Exactly, or the strip club and made me spend $35,000. I mean, like I spent my first year battling with Jay Rose, and we talk about this, man, because he wasn't a Duke guy, and we had some like internal strife and how that worked out, right? So it's just different.
He's such an asshole.
He's a beautiful asshole, though. It's good, though.
I love that guy. Hold on, we're gonna take a break. Taking a break to talk about Simply Safe Home Security. Before you guys start giving me crap, saying I don't like Simply Safe because they're from Boston. That's not true. It's a little true, but it's not 100% true. I like Simply Safe because it's a great security system, awesome protection, very easy to use, and because they're from Boston. Simply Safe got started when a Harvard engineer's friend got burglarized. They went to get a security system, a huge hassle, too complicated, too expensive, terrible contracts, so they built something better, a comprehensive, easy-to-use protection. No contracts, fair prices, keeps your family and home safe 24/7, even during power outages. When your Wi-Fi is down, if a burglar smashes your keypad, whatever, they're ready. It's thoughtfully designed so it's never in your way. You probably won't even notice it. Plus, set it up in minutes. Anyone can use it. No contracts, 24/7 monitoring, only for $14.99 a month. That's right. Order a SimpliSafe security system right now. And SimpliSafe will also donate one to a family in need. So you got to do it. You have to go to simplysafe.com/BS. That is SimpliSafe with 2 I's. Simplysafe.com/BS. And since we're here, don't forget Fortnite Friday, twitch.tv/The Ringer. Friday, 3 p.m. Eastern Time, 12 p.m. Pacific Time. I will be playing Fortnite with my son, Stephanie Stone and Jason Concepcion. We're forming a Fortnite squad, taking on all comers. And comedy will ensue because guess who's fun to kill in Fortnite? People over 40 like me. So I'm going to die a lot, but that's fine. It'll be good. Anyway, check that out. All right, back to Jay Williams. Picking up where we left off, you come into the league at the tail end of probably the worst generation the league's had. All these dudes that got paid a lot of money right away, guys who didn't reach their potential, guys who were kind of handling their business the wrong way for the most part, guys who were bouncing around a little bit. I look at somebody like Kenny Anderson, who was one of my favorite college players ever.
God, he was so nasty.
If you just took him and put him in a time machine and put him in the league in 2013, it's a completely different career. And he has to work. He has a rookie scale contract. He's got to work for his deal. He's got better influences around him, stuff like that. And his generation, he didn't have any of that. And he's making $10 million a year right away. He's got no role models. He's on his own. And it's just his career goes the way it does. So you go in and these are your role models, this generation of these guys that were, I don't know. It was kind of a dark time for the league in some ways.
It was weird, man. It was like Jay and I talk about this a lot. Like I felt, first off, I lost 13 games in my college career, right? So I'm still uber competitive in everything I do, right? It's like the same way I can watch you on TV or listen to your podcast. Like I'm jotting down notes. I'm thinking about, do I think this way or do I want to spin this? What else do I believe? How do I make good content on TV? And at that time, like I didn't have anybody that was like, yo, let me help you. Even my rookie year, like me and Jamal Crawford, And I love JC. Like I can't believe he's still playing in the league today. Which
is 18 years.
It's crazy. And he's still doing the same thing. I watched him play against his son the other day up in Seattle, and they're going back and forth. Like, how come him and I weren't in the backcourt together playing free flow style? Like we're still running the damn triangle.
Yeah.
We're running the triangle with Tyson Chandler and Eddie Curry and Bill Cartwright, who was our coach. It talks like, and I love Bill, but like, Bill had no head coaching experience. And then after a game was over, everybody just went off their separate way. And I'm thinking about, how do I beat out Jamal Crawford for a starting spot, because our team pitted us against each other.
Yeah.
Instead of like, how do we just run and destroy people?
It's funny, if you took that exact roster that you had, and
we had Eddie Robinson too, who signed that $40 million deal. And that dude smoked a lot, but it didn't matter. He was so crazy athletic and was so different. Like, you could throw any bad pass at all, Bill, was a great pass with E-Rob. Like, he was that incredibly talented.
Jalen and I, we spent 2 straight years together and a lot of time together, and I've heard a few E-Rob stories.
Oh, they're legendary.
Now that is somebody who actually might be able to get a 30 for 30.
Yes.
E-Rob.
Yes, E-Rob. One of the all-time greatest, man.
E-Rob, you weren't really sure where you were getting at game time with E-Rob.
Well,
what kind of state of mind he was in.
Yeah, exactly. It was a little bit foggy at times. But you know what, though? When it cleared up big time. And you're like, oh, there's a glimpse.
It's almost more impressive that somebody could handle their business off the court that way, but then go on the court and score 27 against Charlotte.
Because he didn't care.
Yeah.
So that was, think about that. Like, think about how that can switch up the narrative, right? In the game, like, you're intense, you're about it. But for E-Rob, I'm like, yo, you into it? He's like, yeah, man, I'm good. I'm like, all right. Yeah, you're good.
Who else were your role models on that team? Wasn't Oakley, didn't he pass through that team?
No,
or were you
we
hurt by that point? Well, he was on there eventually, like in 04.
Yeah, when I left. I wasn't there. Yeah, I was already done. We had Corey Blunt, who was on that team, CB. We had Lonnie Baxter.
Because that team was like a science experiment where you just put all these young dudes against each other with no veterans at all.
Yeah. It was like a big brother, Rick Brunson. Like, Jalen's dad.
Yeah.
He was great. He practiced every day with scar marks, and then he would borrow my Corvette and just not give it back for like 2.5, 3 weeks. I'm like, yo, can I get my Corvette back? He's like, yo, I'll give it back to you when I'll give it back to you. I'm like, are you really just punking me right now, dude? This is, it's my endorsement deal. He's like, I got you. It's okay.
Yeah.
That's Rick Brunson.
Do you remember what you signed for?
Well, yeah, I signed my rookie deal. I think I signed for like 3.6.
And then you got all the endorsements and stuff?
I had a deal with Corvette and I had a deal with Adidas. Those are my first 2 deals. And then I got lucky enough, thank God, by Jerry Reinsdorf and, all those guys that I got my next year of my deal when, because I got in my accident. I shouldn't have got it, but they gave it to me, thank God. And I was able to stay on insurance too, because I had 13 surgeries, so that was pretty big.
Jesus. Yeah. I remember.
Riding a bike does, Bill. It goes wrong.
Well, I had the same thing. I almost died riding a bike too.
Really?
When I was 16, yeah. I had remember those Honda Elite motor scooters?
Yeah,
They used to be like 65.
Uh-huh.
And I used to ride that thing like a maniac, no helmet. It was mid-80s. And some old lady cut in front of me and almost died. Same thing. Yeah. But my stuff was a lot like broken shoulder, broken ribs, broken collarbone, broken cheekbone, stuff like that. I didn't have this stuff. And especially I wasn't an athlete like you. But I get it, man. You're sitting there in that bed for, how long were you in the hospital?
I was in 2.5 months.
Yeah, you're sitting there just, not only are you in pain, but you're just thinking about what a dumbass you are the whole time.
Yeah.
Like, what am I doing? I'm such a dumbass. How am I here?
Well, the thing is, you have so many people that tell you shouldn't be doing it, but at that time, I didn't want to listen to anybody. I was doing what I wanted to do. I had made it. I'm on a billboard going down I-90. Yeah. I got all these dreams that I've ever had. Like, I'm here. I'm living that life. I'm taking planes to Vegas privately, hanging out with Jay Rose and kicking it and still playing against all my idols and Steve Nash, Kobe Bryant, AI, dropping 20 against AI. I'd be like, I just dropped 20 against AI. Like, I'm on my way. Like, you couldn't tell me anything at that given moment.
Yeah. Did you play against MJ or no?
Yeah. MJ just told me how he was going to score on me. It was the best moment of my life. We were playing against First off, Jay Rose found a way to switch off MJ multiple times. So easy.
That's part of his brilliance.
I'm like, come on, man.
Yeah.
So, he backed me down to that left pinch post, told me he was going to come over to the left shoulder. Didn't believe him. Shot it over his left shoulder. Huh?
He had no knees at that point and still scored. Like doing turnarounds?
Still scored.
Did you try to ISO him on the other end?
I couldn't because we ran the damn triangle.
Oh, my God.
There was no ISOs in our game. It was pass the ball to the side, run to the corner, wait until you get the ball back with 23 seconds, with 1 second or 2 seconds left on the shot clock, then shoot it.
I remember.
That's why my stat sheet is shitty.
Oh my God.
Think about that.
But you weren't the first team that fucked that up, because I remember the Mavs when they had Jay Kidd and Jim Clemens became their coach. And he was like, I got this idea. We're going to do the triangle. And I didn't have a column yet. I hadn't even started my old website. And I was like, someday if I get a sports column, I'll be writing about how fucking stupid this is. You have Jason Kidd, who's clearly like the most equipped guy to run a fast break that we've had in the league, since anybody in the 80s. And you're having him walk it up and do this controlled offense. Like, what is this?
Can I just tell you how much I love Jay Kidd? I did a short stint with the Nets, and Lawrence Frank was the head coach. And the first couple of days of training camp, Lawrence Frank drops this big ass book on my desk, and he's like, "Here are all the plays. If you're gonna make this team, you need to memorize them all." I was like, "Holy shit! What am I, a quarterback?
Yeah.
Like, what kind of book is this?" So then we're in the game and we're in practice, and Jay Kidd is coming down, and Lawrence yells out a play, and Jay kind of looks at him like, "I don't know what this play is," and then Jay just goes wide, and next thing you know, we get screen and roll and all this stuff. And I'm like, "So Jay, like, what's the secret?" He's like, "Just don't listen to Lawrence Frank. He doesn't know what the hell he's talking about. He's gonna be gone in a year anyway, Jay, and I'll be here." And I'm like, "But I may not.
Right.
Jay, like, help me out. Like, how do I do it?"
Yeah, what do I do?
But yeah, so I had to learn the playbook. Sucked.
It's a player's
Still didn't make
league.
the team.
Did you, when you were coming back, did you have a glimmer of hope at some point? You were like, wow, I actually might be able to come back.
Yeah, it was so Bill Duffy was my agent. This was so interesting. And I'm out here in California training at the Home Depot Center in Carson. And I met one of the owners, Eddie Viola.
Yeah.
Who's now, I think he owns is it the Jaguars? I think he owns a hockey team. And so Eddie and I are really close, and we're talking. Eddie's like, "You're going to make the team." And we were in great standing with the team, and I was going to go there. I was going to go through training camp, but there was a spot open. And I'm on Eddie's private plane coming from LA back to Teterboro. And we're on the plane and we're watching the draft. And then during the draft, the Nets select Marcus Williams from UConn.
Oh yeah, the laptop stealer.
The laptop
I remember
stealer.
him.
And then Marcus's agent is Bill Duffy. And I'm like, so I'm just watching my whole career just snap right in front of my eyes. And I went from being like the second tier point guard to the third tier point guard. And then it was like I went through training camp. I mean, it was a good bet on their part. It's all business, right? I couldn't sustain throughout training camp. But Eddie had me working with this guy named Sifu, who was like this trainer. Like, I'm literally standing in the corner for an hour before practice, kneeling down, holding these squats because I was supposed to make my legs stronger.
Yeah.
Then doing therapy. It was too much, man. I couldn't do it.
If that injury happened in 2018, is the technology better or is it the same thing?
I still have drop foot. I mean, that's the only thing that held me back from playing is I can't pick my left foot up.
Yeah.
So I had to wear this band that they attached to the top of my toe that pulled my foot up to keep my foot dorsiflexed.
Yeah.
And that's the only thing I can still go left. I can still play, but I don't have that burst of speed like you would need to play in today's game.
Do you still play now?
Yeah. I still play pickup all the time. I still destroy people. It's still fun.
Hesitation, step back three?
Oh, no. I bully people. I play serious. I will punish anybody in all the Jewish leagues I play in. I am like a Jewish Jordan. I'm a black Jewish Jordan. It's great.
We used to play at the finals. The NBA would have these games and Jalen would play. And he was really out of shape back then. Now that he's with Molly,
Molly's kept him tight and right.
Molly's done a nice job.
Jalen came into training camp and he looked pregnant. He looked like the guy. You ever seen the movie The Great White Hype?
Yeah.
We talk about this all the time. Like, he had a stomach and he used to rub his stomach and just destroy people. And then like, "Yo, come get me out." And he would sit on the sideline for like 5-10 minutes, then come back in the game, scrimmage for like 2 minutes, destroy people, then go out again. Like, "Yeah, I'm coming."
Well, he had that old man game.
I know.
So then when we would play pickup, he would just be basically just shooting threes, trying not to get hurt. But if people started talking shit, he would do the recurring spin move lefty thing where he starts out 25 feet away and he's just spinning and all of a sudden it's a layup. And people are like, what just happened?
Man, that dude.
Paul Pierce is another one. I love those old man pickup games. Paul Pierce is probably good now. He probably hasn't played in a year, 2 years, whatever. But he's just that herky jerky.
He knows how to play.
Yeah.
Mike Finley used to do that all the time. Dude could not move, but would find a way to get a shot.
Remember that? He played an extra 5 years.
I know. Like, how are you doing it?
Yeah.
Like, you don't have to move in order to get your shot off. You can stay in one spot.
I feel like Dirk can play till he's 56.
I hope he doesn't, though.
Well, he should have hung it up already, but the dude loves basketball. He likes being on a team.
I know.
He's banking his $7 million a year, and he's like basically Sam Perkins in the mid-90s for now.
That league minimum for him is nice.
Is that what they're doing this year?
I don't know. I heard. Wouldn't that be the plan? I mean, He letting
I
Dirk
think
hang
so.
on.
I know Cuban paid like $135 million for Dirk's documentary, which wasn't a salary cap, bro. He paid whatever the Titanic budget was. That he
That's
paid
his
for
way of getting
Dirk's.
paid, exactly.
Like, this is a great documentary, Dirk. Here's $238 million.
You gotta love Mark though, man. Mark is kind of like a genius boss within the league. He just says whatever he wants. You want to find me, find me.
Yeah,
he doesn't care.
Well, he was on a really bad run, and then the Doncic thing, that trade was great.
It was incredible.
I love that trade. I think it's going to go down as one of the all-time one-sided trades. Now that's a case. We were talking earlier about when you're right, where you're wrong.
Mm-hmm.
I think sometimes you have to go all in if you're going to do what we're doing. And that's one where I'm all in. I think Doncic is going to be great. I think that trade is going to go down in history, and I think he's going to revive Dallas. So I'm happy being on that corner.
He's going to revive Dallas.
I think he's going to revive the Mavs, and
Okay.
I think he's special.
I think he has a chance to be special. I'm curious to see how they utilize him, though. I think he needs to play off the ball. Wouldn't you say so? You think he's a diehard PG?
I don't think it matters.
Yeah?
I think there's only a few guys like this. It doesn't matter. You know, like Magic was a point guard, but it didn't really matter. Like he played with Norm Nixon for like
Yeah, I'm with you on
4
that.
years and was like, all right, I'll do some small foot. Like he just could be anywhere and be good. And I don't know. I kind of feel like Durant's like that. I like those guys. And it goes back to the pickup thing. These guys that are just like, all right, who's on my team? All right, I'll do this in this game.
I got it. Yeah, just find a way to win.
Whereas so many guys are like Russ is like this. I have to do this. So we're going to need these guys around me because I'm only doing this. And I don't like those guys as much, just aesthetically.
It will be nice to see him and DS, Junior play in the same backcourt. That's pretty dangerous. Because Dennis Smith is a stud.
Yeah. So the Mavs fans are already very protective of him because I'm dubious because I wonder if he's
you have this weird look on your face when I said Dennis Smith.
Well, I wonder if he's a good stats bad team guy. He basically needs to prove me wrong on that one.
Yeah, but he just played on a bad team last year as a rookie. He still
But
did
that
his
might
thing.
be what his destiny is.
Ah.
Like I think Bagley's like that on the Kings. He'll get his 2010s and they'll lose.
Yeah, but I mean, that's dependent upon where you go, though, right? I mean,
I insulted a Duke guy, so now you have to defend him. Duke Omerta.
I don't care. I mean,
No, you guys have to. It's like a cult.
is it?
Yeah, you
Is
go
that
in,
right?
they take your blood, they implant the
You're part
chip
of
in
the
the
Coach
back
K
of your
realm.
neck. He puts a little chip in your neck. You don't know it's there.
Oh, I never knew this. This is good. It's
never
like the
knew
Matrix.
that?
No,
Yeah, there's a chip in you right now.
I kind of marched to the beat of my own drum.
And there's a chip in your head. You don't realize it.
Oh, that's
There was
scary.
one time when you passed out during a massage in practice, and they were like, "He's asleep. Let's get him."
Coach K chip.
Coach
I like
K
that.
chip.
Yeah.
Coach K, everybody who's ever played for him, it's like he's like a family member, but I don't even love my dad as much as the Duke players love Coach K. And I love my dad.
Huh.
It's you say anything and it's like, what?
Yeah,
coming
it's
at
cold
K?
like. Yeah, it's cold like. But you know what though? Like it's the way he gets you to buy in. I think that's how he does it. It's like because it doesn't become about you, it becomes about us. Which is I don't know if that necessarily translates to the next level because what he does there is very special. That's why he was able to do it at USA Basketball.
Yeah.
All of a sudden you get to the next level, it's not about us, it's about me when you go to a bad team. Right? So how do you change that culture at the next level? But that's what he's good at doing.
That's what the Ringer's like.
That's what the Ringer.
It's
is
about
this
us.
like a silent
It's about
recruiting
us. The
pitch?
site wins, you win. That's how we approach things. It's not about you winning. It's about if we win, you win. It's good for you.
You guys do kick-ass content though, man.
trying,
I listen to
man.
you guys every day.
We're trying. Speaking of that, let's take a break. Hey, if you're like me and you're not so great at planning ahead, I've got good news. Our friends at Hotel Tonight have an awesome app that helps you find amazing hotel deals at the very last minute. Book next week tonight or book next month tonight. All it takes is 10 seconds, 3 taps, and a swipe. No long, endless list of a zillion hotel choices. Hotel Tonight only shows you the best deals at the best hotels. Perfect. Whether you're a planner or you like to leave things at the very last minute, I use it every so often. Usually when one of my kids has a tournament far enough away from LA that you don't want to drive and you just hop on Hotel Tonight, put the city in, see the prices, jump at stuff. And what's amazing is they continuously have really good deals. Even if you don't want to go anywhere, you can go look and go, I've always wanted to stay at that hotel that's 2 hours away and it's super nice. Maybe I'll just put some cash down and do it. With Hotel Tonight's HT Perks program, the more you book, the better the deals get. Unlike other loyalty programs where you're trapped into staying at boring chain hotels. Doesn't work that way at Hotel Tonight. Start scoring amazing deals at incredible hotels. Download the Hotel Tonight app right now. Coach K, how long does he go? And how important is the greatest victory total of all time record, putting that away so that nobody touches it?
Well, his hair is still black, so he's obviously going for a while.
I'm not convinced it's really black.
Oh, of course not. But I don't know, man. He's so immersed in it. It's so him that I don't know if I want it to go away for him. It's almost like Dean, like, you know, like when you don't have that control, then what do you do when you're used to that being your life?
Right.
His family is immersed in the life. His wife is immersed in the life. And I mean, they just keep, the kid RJ Barrett's going to be a stud. They just keep, cranking it out year after year after year. I don't know what happens. I don't want him to go away.
I'm going to throw negative Coach K things at you and you defend them. Just things that are in the atmosphere.
Okay.
Coach K, big educator, believes in kids finishing their degree, but now he's the master of one and done, only pretends he's not, but he is.
I think he's evolved into becoming more of a master of how to help you run your business. Like I think that's where I think it used to be that way, that he wanted you to graduate. But I think I've watched him, if it's the fantasy camp, surrounding players with this kind of board mentality, where if it's like you meet Eddie Q, you meet all these different guys. These guys are on your board. Here's how we develop your brand or your business.
So I'm still in your life for 4 to 10 years, but maybe only one of those years you're actually playing for me. Whereas like 20 years ago, he's recruiting you. He's like, you're going to come here. You're going to get your degree. You're going to play basketball and be prepared for life. And now it's like, I have you for 7 months, but I'm still going to prepare you.
Yeah, he's going to try. I mean, I think the thing that's difficult, and I just got done doing this with this whole series called Best Shot, is when you coach, like you try to make that one-on-one connection with everybody, but realistically, you can't sustain that. Like, how do you sustain? I mean, I've been able to do it with these, 13 plus kids.
Yeah.
And it's been great throughout our series. And but this is my first team. So there's a different connectivity I have with them. But if we continue to how do you maintain all that and still be a father, still be a husband?
You have 300 people in your life.
You can't do that. It almost seems like, so you come in and you give yourself for a certain amount of time, and then inevitably they have to figure it out on their own, but you're always there. And I think he's always there if you need him to be there.
You mentioned Eddie Q. Is he the most crooked booster that we have right now in college basketball? By the way, he listens to the podcast.
Seriously?
Yeah, I wanted to see. He's driving around like, what are you crooked?
He's brilliant, man. I had him.
Who doesn't get Apple stock? Who goes to Duke?
I don't know, but I tell you one thing.
Floated in?
I had him one year on my team, and we won a championship, and we all got like the iPods when they were first coming out. And I'm like, I had no idea who Eddie was or what Eddie did. I mean, I was cursing Eddie out.
Yeah,
I was yelling at him, but that dude played hard, man. He loved it. He's a hoops junkie. I just got done listening to KD talk over at the Variety thing, and they were talking about Eddie, and I just love how immersed he is in the sport, man.
He goes on location to games.
Oh no, he's next level.
Like he is like the highest level of. Some of these people are like, yeah, I love sports, man. This guy's like flying to the ACC tournament in Greensboro and then flying back. I always have my radar out when people are trying to pretend they're sports fans. If you're flying to Greensboro,
you're not pretending.
You're not pretending at that point.
No, he's.
Granted, he's probably flying charter because he's wealthy.
Because he's done
still,
pretty well.
You're
with
going
Apple.
to Greensboro. That's a real thing. All right.
I mean, I wish it was true that we got Apple stock. I mean, if we got Apple stock, I love you, but
you don't have to.
I wouldn't be doing TV.
You don't have to tell me. You keep that to yourself.
Okay.
Coach K. Last Coach K thing. He did USA basketball because it was the most brilliant recruiting tool that anyone has. Because he has all these dudes on speed dial now for when he's talking to RJ Barrett. It's like, oh, you love Kevin Durant? Hold on, I'll text him right now.
Truth.
Yeah, that's smart.
Why wouldn't you do it? I mean, it's like Cal. I love Cal's like, I'm going to coach the Dominican team now. I'm like, all right, well, that works out for Cat, but look, you have to find you know how it is. But like, you're genius at this, man. You continue to reinvent yourself all the damn time.
Thanks for the plug.
You do. And you always have some kind of backup plan that can be better than the plan that you're naturally putting together, right? And I think that's how Kay looks at it too. It's like, well, I can do this, but I can just use it to leverage it, and I get a chance to build my values into the culture of our country.
I think he's really smart, obviously, but the reinvention of what he's been able to do now that he's in his 70s?
I think he's getting close. Yeah, I think he's there,
almost 70. But first of all, the USA basketball thing was brilliant. And whether he stumbled into the extra reasons or whether he knew right away, really smart. The fact that he audibled to one and done out of necessity, but did it in a way that he's not perceived as a one and done guy, and somehow Calipari takes all the shit for it. And they're basically in a war now every year for these guys, and nobody considers K a one and done guy.
He's unique, man.
Guess what? He's a one and done guy.
I would think it's weird though. Like, I feel this from you. You're a dynasty kind of guy. I think you'll be more relatable to Duke than the hate on it though. I mean, you're a Celtics guy. You guys have won championship after championship. You should appreciate.
But even more relevant, I'm a Pats guy.
No, that's
and I
even
take
better.
it personally when people are against the Pats. I'm like, what? You're against excellence?
Well, you're against Bill Belichick.
You're against sustained brilliance. What? But with Duke, I'm like, fuck those guys.
What's in the water, man? What keeps Tom Brady going?
You know
at
what
40?
it is for me with Duke? Being in college, Christian Laettner.
Well, he's not. Yeah,
Bobby Hurley, Danny Ferry. They just had certain guys that were really fun to root against. And I was all in on Fab Five. This is obviously years before I knew Jalen. I love the Fab Five. I just thought just the five freshman thing. I was so into that. I love the Fab Five. I love the Kenny Anderson, Brian Oliver. I'm blanking on the third guy, Georgia Tech team. You know,
Steph?
Steph was later. It was Brian Oliver, Dennis Scott.
Oh, Dennis Scott, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. But every year college basketball would have these teams and you get to root for them for 2 to 3 years. And then it kind of become like your little adopted fun team. And then there'd be the years like the Louisville Marymount. It was like, oh, Hank Athers and Bo Kimball. And then it's like, oh, Hank Athers, whoop, they're still playing. Oh, Bo Kimball's shooting lefty free throws. And you would have these moments. But now it's like, it's just really hard to keep track.
Yeah,
I think the Duke thing's going to be fun because having 3 small forwards who are all so different. I'm kind of fascinated to see how that happens.
Have you seen RJ Barrett play yet?
So he's the consensus.
He's truth, man.
He's the consensus one.
He's next level.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm quick to tell you if I don't think somebody's really that good. I mean, this dude I watch him train with Drew Hanlon. He just trains. He does everything like a pro already. Like he's way heads and shoulders above everybody else.
Our ringer dudes who we do a draft guide every year that I think is really good. And we have guys who are really into the draft and they're already saying it's him and then it's the next tier. But we find that out every year with college hoops. There's always that second or third guy that comes in out of nowhere during the season or, oh, I didn't realize. And then all of a sudden there's 3. So I'm sure I need 3 because the Celtics have that Kings pick. We're not getting RJ Barrett because it's top 1 protected.
That's very true. Well, it just keeps getting better and better for the Celtics.
It really does.
I said this the other day on Get Up. Though I think they're going to win it. I think the Celtics are going to win it next year. You don't believe in your own team because your whole facial expression just got completely.
Wood.
Okay. All right.
I think that everything that happened in the East was really nice.
It was perfect for you.
Having LeBron in LA.
Great.
Good. Please leave, LeBron. That was good.
Kawhi to Toronto. I don't know if I really want to play. Great. Don't play Kawhi.
I was reading. So, obviously Toronto's a competitor. I don't want the Kawhi thing to work out. I understand. I thought it was a smart trade. We talked about it on the last podcast, but I've been reading stuff trying to convince myself that this is going to be a disaster for them. And the best thing I've read so far is that he legitimately hates being cold. That seems to be a recurring theme. Ooh. So he went to San Diego State and then he's been in San Antonio, which is never cold. And that's been the last 10 years of his life. Toronto's not the coldest city. I made the mistake of saying that in the last podcast. I think Minnesota is, probably Chicago during the winter. Toronto's in the top 3 or 4.
It's up there. Chicago's the worst.
And if he doesn't like cold, I could see him being unhappy. And then you got the Kyle Lowry thing.
Oh yeah, it's weird. Can you even go back to how does he even plan to play USA basketball? Isn't Pop the head coach of USA basketball?
He probably bows out of that one.
Yeah, probably, right?
What a weird, I can't figure it out. I can't wrap my head around it.
How come he doesn't say anything at all? nothing at all. Like people just taking shots at you 24/7. You don't say anything.
He's such a strange, I don't want to say strange guy. He's like a strange counterpart to the way everyone else acts who's a star in the NBA. Like if anyone else was in his spot, they would be like on Instagram, here's my workout. Here's what I did today in the gym. I'm coming back. I'll see you in September. You know, be that kind of shit. And Kawhi is just like in a cave somewhere. It's like in Afghanistan training.
Nothing,
It's like we don't get to see anything with him. And then randomly he'll just go to a Dodger game and not realize it's like a huge deal that he's sitting where all the
public event.
Yeah, well, that he's also sitting where all the VIPs sit that Magic Johnson gives the tickets to. It's like, yeah, you're behind the Dodgers dugout. That's where they put the celebs where you call for tickets and they put you there.
We see you.
Yeah, you can't. So I don't know what to make of him.
Yeah. It just getting to this point where I'm like, why don't we just take away 10 teams in the league? I mean, just make it 20 teams. I mean,
I'd go the other way.
Is it just increase it?
I'd have more
teams?
because it's 4 every year anyway. So why not have like 32? Who cares?
I mean, everybody's just going to stack it up. I mean, just if I'm a free agent in 2019, Clay's probably going to stay, but if
Are we sure Clay's staying?
I mean, how much less is he going to have to take?
His dad is a 2-time champion for the Lakers who still works for them. He grew up here. He's the perfect number 2 guy for LeBron. Or not number 2, but if LeBron's putting together a top 3, isn't Clay like the perfect sidekick for him?
That could be a well done play.
Come back to California, get a little of his.
Why do we think everybody wants a little bit of his though? Does Clay strike you as somebody that wants his?
I'm just judging NBA behavior by the last 10 years, where everybody eventually wants theirs.
Could be true. I mean, Kevin Durant didn't really want his though. I mean, he went out there for
He went to a 73 win team.
That's true. Yeah, that's fair. That's accurate.
We very rarely do we see somebody make a decision that's not a little selfish when we're talking about this much money, right?
Well, I mean, if Isaiah Thomas proved anything, you have to be selfish, right?
Oh, yeah.
I'm being selfish every day. I mean, if I'm playing in the league now, I'm trying to get as much money as possible.
Here's where I get annoyed. Like, so we're taping this on Thursday. It's been basically 30 straight hours of DeMar DeRozan. Oh, the Raptors lied to him. Poor DeMar DeRozan. It's like, he's fine. He's making $28 million this year. He's probably made 125 in his career.
That's like signing a contract and then looking at the fine print. Like, oh, I didn't know you slid that one in there. That's the way business is done.
Guess what? Dudes get traded. It's the fucking NBA.
Yeah.
Calm down. You sign a contract. If there's no trade clause in it, you might get traded. That's the league.
That's the way it works.
You can finish the contract and the team can bank on you resigning. You could go somewhere else and you have the leverage there. Like, there is no loyalty in sports anymore, I don't think. The last time we saw loyalty was when the Lakers gave Kobe Bryant $50 million for 2 years when he was completely broken down.
He was completely broke down. No way he could even play.
Thanks, Kobe. Here's a lot of money and we're going to suck for 2 years. We're loyal to you.
It's legendary.
But that was literally the last time. Well, that'll probably be the last loyal moment in the history of the league until the Warriors will give Steph Curry.
Cleveland does something for LeBron. There's a statue of LeBron James outside the Cavs Stadium, right? I mean, that's loyalty on LeBron's part. I'm not saying that needs to work out with ownership over there.
LeBron was conditionally loyal to Cleveland. He came back, but only signed these 1-year deals and put the pressure on them to, instead of trying to build something, compete right away year after year. And now he's left them in a bad place. I thought it was really interesting with the Lakers. You disagree?
I just feel like he did what he said he was going to do. He said, I want to come back and win a championship.
I want to come back. I want to be down 3-1 in the series. I'm going to get Draymond to punch me in the nuts, and we're going to win the title.
However you need to do it. I mean, however it needs to work is how it works.
The thing is, though, if that doesn't happen, he never wins a title.
I agree.
Although maybe Durant doesn't go to Golden State. Maybe they win in 17. I don't think Durant could have gone if Golden State won. The nut punch is one of the great sliding door moments in the history of the league. It really is. Who would have thought somebody's nuts would be
Draymond, obviously.
God, Draymond. I was watching. I had bet on the Warriors watching that, and he did that. I was like, I
love Draymond. He's not all there. You'd love to have somebody like that on your team.
So how long do you think he can do that?
Like, do what? Punch people in the nuts?
No. Be at that level of intensity. I don't think it's sustainable, like for somebody who's like 34. The history of the league says it flames out pretty fast for guys like that.
He just reminds me of Oak. Like, he may not be as quick, but the physicality of the game will just become increased.
Yeah.
Like, he'll just, like, why would you not want somebody like that on your team as long as they're not hurting your team? But he just finds a way to do all the things that people don't think about when they play.
Yeah. I have no idea how long his career would last, but he is somebody that I wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't have a long shelf life, because at some point he's going to have to mellow out a little bit. And I actually think that'll affect the way he plays basketball, because he's at his best when he's me against everybody.
Yeah.
And he's on the road and he's screaming at people and getting into fights and getting technicals and yelling at Steve Kerr. And that's who he is. And I don't think you can do that for 15 years.
Well, now you got Boogie, so now you have two.
Are you pro or con Boogie?
It's going to be interesting to watch the dynamic, but I think if there's any team that can teach him how to be unselfish, it will be that team. For the way they play. Because of all the superstars that are surrounding him, I think it's going to be, if it actually works out, I think it'd be a scary thing.
It was a great gamble. I think
great gamble for them. What do they have to lose?
People really reacted strangely to it, though, on the internets.
Yeah.
It's unfair. It's like he might not even play till March. And you know better than anybody that's like a major injury. To just be like, yeah, he'll be fine in January. Like, good luck with that.
But just having, that dude gets back to form, having 5 All-Stars on your team.
Yeah.
Like, how do you, and I know Adam Silver can't stop it. I know there's nothing he can do. But almost in a way, I wish there was something he can do. I'm just, to see everybody in the same squad, I'm like, damn. I know I wouldn't be able to do that.
You can't do it because his chance to stop it, they messed up that summer when the cap jumped.
Yeah.
And that's how they were able to get Durant. It was a complete fluke, confluence of events, and the nut punch gets thrown in. And then it leads to them getting Durant. But like, Durant should have beaten them the previous round. Clay goes hot, gets super hot. So somehow OKC loses. Now opens the door for Durant. And then Golden State somehow blows the finals. Mm-hmm. And then Durant's there, and then during the year the cap jumps $30 million. But
changes.
It's unfortunate.
Speaking of Golden State blowing the finals, can I tell you what I'm doing with LeBron? Did you hear about this? No. All right. We did a series called Best Shot.
Oh, you mentioned it earlier. Yeah.
It's just, you know what it is, Bill? And just a transition. It's, I feel like.
I like the organic plug, by the way.
Yeah, naturally.
It was good.
We've been doing this for a while.
It was good.
I mean, I told you, I listened to you for a long time.
One of those things that didn't come up. Somebody in your crew would have been like,
hey, make sure you get it plugged in. Yeah, great.
Yeah.
So I feel like, for a long time after I got hurt, I was pissed off. I was angry.
Yeah.
Because I wanted to be one of those guys that make $250 million. If I didn't get hurt, I would have loved to play against Russell Westbrook or Kyrie or any of these dudes. I'm crazy competitive. I would have loved the opportunity. I think I would have done well.
Yeah.
But obviously that didn't happen because of my own doing. So, one of the things I said that I think LeBron is the greatest of all time for a multitude of reasons. Number one, I think he could beat Michael Jordan in one-on-one because we haven't seen anybody like him before. But number two, for all the things he does off the court. So being with Maverick and all these guys from the time I've been younger, we played 5-star together, Honesdale. We decided, hey, how can we do something within the community that is just different? So we decided to find a high school, and I stayed with these kids for 3 days a week for 3.5 months.
Where's the high school?
It was in Newark, New Jersey. It's called Newark Central High. And there's a guy named OG, Sean McCray.
Not the one, Wagner's high school.
Not
right?
The one. That's down in Camden.
Okay.
He was spectacular, by the way.
Yeah.
He was nasty. He didn't have that gallbladder problem, right, that he had? I think it was gallbladder or kidney.
Like colitis or something.
Colitis.
Yeah, it was bad.
He doesn't have that, man. Anyway, spending time with these kids, it kind of just really, it fucked me up because I didn't have this situation, even though I've been around people like this my whole life, to be immersed in it.
Yeah.
Like, we had a kid on our team named Isaiah. He doesn't have, his parents aren't around. He's living by himself at 17 years old. He's paying his own rent. At 17 years old, working a full-time job, making it on practice every single day. We had a kid named Hadi who lost his father during the show. You get a chance to actually see that. We have one kid named Shaquan Clark who he's looking outside the window. He's like, my brother's locked up in jail. My dad's nowhere to be found. It all falls on me. At 16 years old, and you hear multiple people throughout the series say, it's on you. You got to get us out. You got to get us that big house. I don't know if Shaquan Clark is making it to the league.
Yeah.
But all this pressure on this kid to get out. He's like, I need to get out of New Jersey. And he's thinking about Miami, LA. I'm like, do you know New Jersey's called the Garden State? Have you been to other parts of New Jersey? So that's why I say I love LeBron, for the fact that he's we're working on this series to teach kids that you cannot be victim of your circumstances. That there goes the plug. It came by Nina. She's great, by the way. And it's on YouTube. It's free. But one of those things about like, how do you help shape young minds? How do you help these kids get out of their own way to believe that they can do something bigger than what their circumstances tell them they can do?
It's online now or it's coming online?
It's online now. It went live yesterday.
Great.
Which is really cool. I appreciate you letting me get the natural organic plug.
Yeah, it was good.
It was good. Thank you.
Well, LeBron, I think I think there's a lot of guys who've been in basketball had a really hard life. I think he had one of the hardest childhoods you could have and still get to the NBA, make it, and succeed the way he did. I've always been.
Are you a LeBron fan? Or are you not a LeBron fan?
No, I am. It's funny because.
Oh, you're torn. I like this.
No, it's funny because I take shit for being a LeBron hater, and I feel like I've written more nice shit about him than any player I've ever written about.
Well, you know how that works. You say one negative thing and you're a hater.
Well,
everybody else's opinion.
I experienced this when I did TV, and I'm sure you get it every year. There was one finals. It was San Antonio, Miami, and both fan bases were convinced I hated their team. So it's like,
how does that
what
happen?
am I rooting for? Like a bomb to hit the arena so everyone dies? Like, what? We don't root for teams, but this is every announcer deals with this. The fans become convinced. I used to do this with the Red Sox. I was convinced Joe Buck and Tim McCarver hated the Red Sox. It's like, these guys are rooting against the Red Sox. I hope a lightning bolt hits the booth and takes them out. But
so aggressive.
But with LeBron, like, I think the thing I've been the most impressed by is the worst decision he ever made was the decision.
I agree.
Which was like, ultimately look back, it's like, who fucking cares? It raised $5 million and he made a mistake. Who cares? But he hasn't, like, he's handled his business right. He's been a great role model. He's done a shitload for charity and for kids. He's a really good parent. I'm a good parent. I monitor the other good parent behavior.
Interesting when people call themselves good parents.
Well, when people call themselves good parents, usually I'm suspicious.
Yeah, because I just got very suspicious. I'm a good parent.
Listen, I've proven it. My daughter's been on the podcast 3 times. She's a well-raised 13-year-old. I back it up. I back it up with performance.
Okay.
But I just think he's handled his business great, and it shouldn't have gone that well. I think he's an anomaly. The amount of attention he got from age 15 on.
How do you make it with all that on your back?
Well, just look at all the child actors that have flamed out.
Macaulay Culkin, where's he at?
Yeah, he's basically Macaulay Culkin, but it worked out. And it shouldn't have. Who are his support system? He had a mom who was 15 years older than he was. He had no father figure. And he basically came super close with all of his high school buddies, and that became his family. And it worked. It's incredible. So I like the fact that he goes back in the community and does that stuff. Do I think he whines for calls too much?
But he's human.
Do I think he'd be hard to play with? Yeah. I don't think he gets enough credit for being hard to play with.
Well, Kobe was hard to play with, right? MJ was hard to play with.
Kobe was probably the hardest.
By the way, I love watching all of his stuff on ESPN too.
Oh, you like the detail?
I do, because I like hearing him talk about things he would never do in a game. He's like, and look at the back cut here, and look at the spacing. And you do this. I'm like, but Kobe, you would never do that.
It's been an amazing reinvention of what his career was, where he's also really obsessed with leadership.
I know.
And it's like, you weren't exactly like, General MacArthur on the Lakers.
Out of all the analogies,
he's probably considered like one of the worst teammates of his generation. When it was going well, great. When it was going badly, terrible. But it's reinvention after you retire is part of is smart. And when you're in media, you got to do it.
He won an Oscar.
Yeah,
I mean,
see now Vince Carter. God bless Vince Carter, but he quit on Toronto.
Have you watched that whole thing that they did? I think it was.
I didn't see it.
It's pretty phenomenal. Yeah. But did he really quit on Toronto?
He quit on Toronto.
What else? But it's not Toronto. It's more management.
I need to have Vince on
management.
No, he quit on Toronto.
Okay,
he quit on them.
You're such a passionate guy.
He quit on them. I went to a game. I wrote about this in the Book of Basketball. I went to a Clippers game when he did not try in the game. I watched it. I was sitting behind their bench. I watched his teammates try to get him involved, and he just didn't give a shit. So like when you're doing that, when people are paying to see you, I hold that to a different standard. At least give a shit.
I feel like Vince is one of those guys that, and he did. I mean, look, I can't talk, and I know what people say, well, how can you be that guy since your career ended? You're going to speculate on other guys. But I always wanted more from Vince. I wanted so much more from Vince. I'm like, let me take an ounce of Kobe and splash that into the brain of Vince, please.
Well, I think that's what frustrated. I'd love to have him on a podcast. Who probably I've written. He's one of the only guys I really. I don't want to say mean, but I went hard at because I watched it. I went to the games.
How do you do that? Have you ever brought somebody on the podcast that just hates you? And then how do you?
No, I'm sure those people are out there though.
Yeah, I would love to listen to that.
The thing is though, if you're a player, if I'm criticizing you, but I'm doing it basketball only and I'm not criticizing you as a human being and all that other shit, that seems fair. I mean, probably the closest we came, Jalen and I had Kobe on the Grantland Basketball Hour, and I've been super critical of Kobe, but he's also smart. He gets it. He knows that he's one of the 10 best players of all time, and you know, people aren't going to write favorably about him all the time. But Vince is a tough one because I'm with you. I think him and C-Web were the most talented people from that generation that never got there. And what's weird is C-Web spun it post-career that he's like one of the greats. And it's like, yeah, you made one first team All-NBA and you never made the finals and you got traded twice. And I wish we could do your career over again because it should have been much better. I thought he was the most talented power forward I ever saw.
Oh, I think he's that talented. And I love watching every time I see his name, every time I see him on TV, I think about the feud that he has with Jay Rose right now. It's just like,
it's amazing. I mean,
it's so
I could go on this all day.
Oh my God.
Hold on, let's take a break. I have some thoughts on this. Hey, let's talk about Yahoo Fantasy Sports. It's time. Football is officially kind of lurking a little bit this NFL season. Be your GM. Be a winning GM. Turn this season into a fistful of epic wins. Join a Yahoo Fantasy Football League. Yahoo has spent the offseason making serious upgrades to enhance your experience. I'm intrigued. It was already a good product. What else could they have done? Upgrades like easier scoring, new trophies, and a buttery smooth app experience. I wish they had a roasting element where you could just roast your fantasy counterparts in the meanest possible ways. They should, maybe for 2019, they could add that. When you come to play fantasy football on Yahoo, the wins are as epic as the season is long, but to get in on the wins, you have to get in on the season. Why not now? Start a league. Start it with your squad. Join one of the many public leagues. Don't miss your chance to play on the best fantasy football platform on the planet. Join a league now at yahoo.com/Simmons/fantasy football. Once again, yahoo.com/Simmons/fantasy football. You could make a team while you're watching us on Twitch TV tomorrow, twitch.tv/The Ringer. Watch us play Fortnite. Look, you've done stranger things in your life. Go check it out. All right, back to Jay Williams. All right, we're back. So, look,
please give me details on this because I have so many questions.
I'm obviously 100% loyal to J. Rowe. That's my brother for life. And I know a lot of information I've heard mostly from Jalen's side. But when Chris Webber's like lying about stuff that I know the opposite to be true that I was involved in, that's when I know like, all right. Because like when he says they had this stuff with the 30 for 30 recently, when they started going at it again, and he's like, here's why I wasn't at 30 for 30. They didn't come to me till the very last minute. And
but they did. It came to him at the beginning, right?
It's just bullshit. We try to get him the entire time. We have emails. We have phone calls. We impressed on him over and over again. Look, this is going to have a huge audience and a super long shelf life, and you're going to regret not being in this. And he just didn't want to do it because it was Jalen's thing. And their rivalry that they had going back to when they were kids when Jalen was this cool kid from the streets and C-Web was, you know, a little bit better off, but then also going to Detroit Country Day. And it was kind of like Jalen was kind of the galvanizing guy and C-Web was the most talented of the guys, but not the leader. And it just, they never figured that shit out. And it's just to hear him talk about 30 for 30 now is so annoying because he should have been in that. How do we do 5-5 and not have C-Web?
I don't know. First off, I mean, Fat Five was dope. It was mind-boggling to me the approach that he took on it. And I never talked to C-Web about this because I don't like to get into personal feuds between other people. But it just seems like you would think that at that moment you would squash any beef that you had in order for your own brand to talk about what it was because that was the leader. They were leaders of movement. Yeah. I watched them as kids and was like, that's what propelled me to wear saggy shorts and to wear the black socks and that whole movement. That's
the most watched 30 for 30 we've ever had. And it's the one that can show now and probably will hold up the best 20 years from now just because it captures a specific time and the sea change of what happened in basketball. For me, it's like, I was always trying to fix it, especially when not to insert myself in the story because I'm not, but I was just there. We're in Miami and Jawan's a coach for Miami and C-Web's there for TV and Jalen's there for TV. And we had this thing in Austin when Ray Jackson came, and Jalen and I we went out with Ray Jackson, and me and my buddy Jacko, we were calling ourselves the new Fab Five. Like, it was just, Jalen's on great terms with all those dudes. But at that finals, we were on our little studio high up. And I think it was either Miami or San Antonio. It was one of the two. And I was like, C-Web's talking to Jawan on the court. You got to go down there. Just go down there. See what happens. He's like, all right, I'm going to go down there. And I taped it. I have the video.
That's why I love J Rose too. Okay, I'll go down there. Let's see what happens.
Well, because he was always like, we're fine. We're brothers. And I'm like, you don't talk. You're in the same place and you're not talking to each other.
Yeah.
Like, you're not fine. This isn't fine. If I was with my best friend from college and we were in the same place, we would hang out and talk to each other and have dinner. And like, you're not talking. He's like, we're fine. We're fine. It's like, go talk to him. So he walked down and he walks over to Jawan and C-Web, and he goes to, and C-Web's kind of doesn't see him coming, but Jawan does. And Jawan comes over and C-Web sees him and walks away and turns his back on him.
Wow. Didn't say a word.
Wouldn't talk to him. This is 2014, and Jalen came back, and then he was mad at me that he went down there. I'm like, no, that's good. You were a bigger man. You went that, but that's how deep this is. And I don't know. It's a bummer. Those guys were like, not only
All-time
like we're like
greatest,
brothers,
man.
like you were brothers with the guys you played from Duke, but those guys knew each other when they were like 11 or 12.
I know.
So I hope they figure it out. Maybe this Michigan thing.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Jay's going to go back, right? You say he's going to go back for that too?
I think so.
The football thing. Well, I hope it does, man. You know, my thing is my relationship with J Rose has changed over time because I grew up loving J Rose.
Yeah.
I grew up loving him. And then obviously when I got to the team, he felt a certain way because I went to Duke. And I remember my first game, Bill. I think it was against the Celtics. I think we won in Chicago. And I missed some free throws down the stretch. That necessarily wasn't one of my strengths. I struggled at it. And I remember waking up the next day and reading in the paper about J Rose saying that I choked. And I was like, damn, all right. Like, so this is the kind of shit I got to deal with. So like, I was naturally kind of combative with Jay.
You're like, what the fuck?
Like, why would you even say that? Right. But then I feel like as the season went along, I started to understand Jay a little bit more and about the shit that he had came from when he was with the Pacers and how he played with that kind of chip. And then I recognized his brilliance too. And from that point on, I was like, all right. And then like, obviously us working at ESPN, there's a new level of appreciation for the way he thinks and the way he sees things. So I know that he has the ability to evolve and grow. I just wonder if C-Web has that ability to meet him halfway. If J Rose does want to meet him halfway. That's the question.
Jalen's the most forgiving person I've ever met in my life. I think it's squashable, but C-Web's, I don't know what's going on with that dude. To me, like, if you turn your back on somebody, I don't know what's worse than you could do. And that it got to that point. So maybe there's other stuff that you
like
and I don't know.
Stay in the conversation. Like at least maybe you don't say a lot, but at least stay there.
Bad?
Yeah.
You can at least do a token, hey man, what's up? Like if you're not even doing that, then this is some deep rooted shit. But
all right, well, I mean, more of the story to unfold.
It's a bummer. What's it like being at ESPN these days?
It's different. I mean, new leadership in Jim Patero makes it a lot different. You got a chance to speak with him.
A corporate answer.
No, I'm not. I'm telling you, it's different. It's different than Skip. You won't get anything corporate from me, man. Trust me.
Well, under the new leadership of Jim Patero,
under the rule book and the guidelines,
he's a very effective leader, and
it's
is like everybody's saying like morale's down. But I always feel like when you have a big company like that, I don't ever remember a time when I was there that people are like, morale's great now. No, a big company like that, nobody's ever happy. Like when I was there 5 years ago, ironically, 2013, which I think was kind of the peak of ESPN, where they just were making money hand over fist. They had no competition. Fox was coming, and Skipper and everybody were like, "Oh, bring it on, Fox! Are you going to come after? Oh, watch this!" And it was a combination of like success and arrogance in a good way. And now I feel like it's a company that definitely seems to be trying to figure out, all right, what are we going to be next decade? Are we a digital company, or is this OTT app everything we're about to be? What are we going to mean to sports fans? And then you have the whole political stuff too.
Yeah, well,
it's complicated.
Life is complicated. I will say this though: interesting inflection point for them, and seeing Jim and seeing some of the things that we're trying to do digitally. I think that's where the future is going to be, and obviously live sporting rights helps when you have that. It's just becoming a more and more difficult space to play in. I mean, we're not even talking about one day. What happens if Apple or Amazon or Netflix want to get involved in the live sport rights? What happens then for everybody? It's a different game.
Apple's the one that should have done it, but it just doesn't seem like it's on their radar.
Well, they just
And
making so
Amazon,
much money.
you could say that about anything. What if Amazon decides to get into podcasts?
Exactly.
Anything they
Just take
do,
over
they're just going
anything.
to ruin it for everybody else.
Exactly.
Amazon was like, "Hey, groceries look cool," and now it's like groceries are
Foods,
done.
bye-bye.
Yeah,
Exactly.
they're just gonna do it. But whoever has the live rights is gonna still matter. And
What's new here at the Ringer? What we got on deck? Anything new coming up?
for the Ringer,
Yeah.
well, we don't have live rights.
Okay.
unless we create a game. We could do like a Ringer kickball game.
You should do like some kind of Ringer video
Nephew
game.
Kyle
I've
over
been
there.
trying to get-
Nephew Kyle's love life is so fascinating right now that it might be
Wait.
our first docuseries.
Wait, what is going on with the love life? I
don't
like
know.
this.
I don't
Who's
know.
on deck? What are we?
He's single, then they're back together. They're single, they're back
on
together.
the podcast and everyone,
We
That
talk about the
love-hate
podcast.
relationship
She
is
gets
tough,
mad.
man.
He's young. Remember, you're 24,
Yeah.
25. You have those up and down.
I mean, do you talk about her like openly on the podcast, or you?
No, only I do. And then he gets super
It's literally
comfortable.
only him.
Oh yeah.
And then
I
he
can tell
can't
you
take
got
it out
very
because
tight
I'm
just
his
talking
boss.
about it.
No, it's great. It's good because we're family, so I can torture him.
Yeah. A wise man once said nothing for you. Best piece of
Hey, it's
advice.
been
There you
super
go.
Quiet. Yeah, I think for us, like, there's lots of little fun things to try that, especially on the digital side and podcasts and documentary, non-scripted, scripted stuff that it's just a really good time if you can make content and if you can do a half decent job of it. So, it's bleak on the one hand with the internet and what's happening with a lot of websites and things like that. But on the other hand, people want content and there's a lot of people trying to buy content right now. So, so I look at something like the ESPN OTT app and some of the bets they've made early with like this MMA show and they had the Pacquiao fight. I was like, this is smart. They're trying to come up with these hardcore niche things.
Exactly.
Where it's like, oh, I have to see that. So here's my $4.99 a month. And I think that's where this shit's going for the big companies. Because we've seen it with Washington Post, we've seen it with New York Times, New Yorker, and now it should happen with ESPN.
If you want to guest host Best Shot 2 with me on YouTube, I mean, you're more than welcome.
Best Shot 2.
Yeah, look, why not? Let's start campaigning
What
for it
city
now.
are we doing?
I don't know.
LA?
Do you want to do Compton? I mean,
LA?
let's go out to LA. I don't mind spending time on the West Coast.
I still have to do some more smoothing out with Spring Hill, I think.
Yeah, no. I heard about that.
You heard about
why-
this fake beef that doesn't exist.
I don't know about it. I mean,
I'm cool
curious.
with all those people.
Yeah, are
Ask
you?
Tommy. Look, Tommy's thumbs up.
Yeah, Tommy was kind of
I'm
quiet.
cool
Can
with
you
all those
define
people.
cool? Define cooling, your definition.
I'm good. We have no
You're good.
enemies.
Are they good?
We have no enemies at the Ringer. I'd even Chris Webber. C-Web can come on the podcast right now. We can have an honest conversation. Everyone's invited. We don't exclude anyone. It's all good. ESPN, everything's cool.
I like that.
My friends are in charge of ESPN now. I'm happy.
It's good.
I'm
times.
rooting for them.
Interesting
I don't
times
know,
for
like,
sport.
for me, it's like, what is the future of people talking on TV all day? Because the podcast audience is growing. So I look at a show like High Noon, and I think those guys are talented. And my friend Ridehome's doing that. He's super talented.
Eric is great.
But if I'm under 30, am I more likely to listen to that as a podcast or watch it?
Listen, but my thing, I'm just tired of yelling. I can't do it anymore.
Did you feel like there was a point in your career where you felt like you had to yell and make noise?
Well, I felt like earlier in my career, that was the way you had to move up the totem pole in a way. Like you had to be outside of yourself and say things that maybe, like I was talking to Kyrie and KD about that today. I straight up asked dudes. So I asked KD, I'm like, yo, how would you like to see things done as far as when you talk about sports? And I loved it. He's like, I just want people to tell the damn truth.
I think Katie is the best at that.
Why
is everybody standing up? Do we have to leave?
I think it may be time for us.
Oh, we have to wrap?
Yeah.
Oh.
That's unfortunate. I was really
Well, finish
just
this
finding
point. It
my
was a good
groove.
point.
He just wants, I don't care if he shoots back at people, if he takes swipes at people, if they're just random fans. Like, that's who I am.
Yeah.
Like, I try to showcase that more. I love that athletes are showing you who exactly the hell they are. It should be that way. But I also don't feel like that's stuff that we need to sit up on a show and yell about, whether we like it or not. That's just the way shit is.
That's why people ask the KD thing. I think some people are still confused why we did 5 podcasts and why I like doing them with him. And the reason I liked it is because he really is all about like, I want to find the truth and let's talk about this and let's get this out. And I'm not hiding anything. The only thing he won't really talk about is Westbrook. Everything else is on the table.
Yeah.
He'll talk about anything. The Westbrook thing
It's
is
so interesting to see those two.
But that's a little like the Jalen
I
Seaweb
know.
thing. They grew up together and they have such a history that one has a much better chance of them being back in the same kind of friendship that they had than I think Jalen and Seaweb do. But it's a lot of baggage from when you're young and, you know, just slights and and then nobody wants to make the first move to make up. And so he won't talk about that, but he'll talk about anything else. And for me, it's like, those are the people I want on my podcast. Like,
I agree.
Fucking, who's the real person? Yeah.
Yeah.
Give me the real thing.
Well, we want athletes to tell the truth, and then we clip them at the knees for telling the truth. So like, why the hell do we want them to tell the truth then?
Right. Because you're going to end up with a lot of people just... This is my one criticism of LeBron, and it's not even a criticism. I think he's a really smart guy who could have good conversations. Very rarely do you see him the unencumbered LeBron. It's always like very carefully.
Well, can I play devil's advocate on that?
Yeah.
How do you find the unencumbered LeBron when there's been a microphone in front of his face since he was 13, 14 years old?
True. And it
Maybe
seems like he's
LeBron
better
doesn't
at
know
it.
the unencumbered LeBron yet.
No, it's in there because we had him after the 2013 finals. He had a little champagne and we had him in the studio post-game thing. It's online. He was awesome for 8 minutes, and it was like the real LeBron. I was like, "You're in there. I see you.
There you are.
Yeah, there you are." So he has it. All right, we got to go. Everybody's now pacing. Jay Williams, good
Give me
luck with the
anxiety.
good luck with best shot. YouTube,
All over YouTube, and it's free.
season 2, LA.
Season 2. Well, yeah, me and you, co-host. Let's do it.
All right, let me talk to my agent, Tommy. Thanks for coming on. I'm glad we finally did this.
Thanks for
All
having
right.
me, bro.
All right, thanks to ZipRecruiter. Don't forget to check them out, ZipRecruiter.com/BS. Don't forget to check out twitch.tv/The Ringer, because that's happening. Fortnite Friday. Oh, yeah. Thanks to Simply Safe Home Security. Comprehensive, easy-to-use protection with no contracts and a fair price, only $14.99 a month. Keeps your family and home safe 24/7, even during power outages, when your Wi-Fi's down, if a burglar smashes your keypad, whatever. Order a Simply Safe security system today. Simply Safe will also donate one to a family in need. Go to simplysafe.com/BS. That is Simply Safe with 2 I's. Simplysafe.com/BS. Thanks to Hotel Tonight to help you book amazing deals at great hotels up to 100 days in advance in top destinations and up to a week in advance everywhere else, whether you need a sweet deal and a nice room for today, for the winter, or beyond. Start scoring amazing deals at incredible hotels. Download the Hotel Tonight app right now. Don't forget about the Rewatchables podcast, by the way. Midnight Run, me and Chris Ryan, one of our favorite movies, 30-year anniversary this month. I don't know if any movie has had more lines than Midnight Run that are just re-quotable, re-throwable. So we got that going. And then from a BS podcast standpoint, I have some sad news. I'm not going to be back till next Friday. You're going to have to make do with all of the incredible Ringer podcasts. You can listen to Ringer NBA. You can listen to Larry Wilmore, House of Carbs, Against All Odds, Channel 33. One Shining Podcast has a big Greg Oden podcast up. You can listen to that. I could go on and on and on. We have 20 to 23. I don't even know how many more great podcasts. Check them all out. Go to theringer.com/podcast. Make do with our content until I'm back on Friday. I will see you then. Enjoy the weekend.